Hey guys, welcome to the Save Continue podcast where we get together and talk about video games and video game related stuff. As always, I'm Shanae Howard, and with me is Thomas Shelby.
Hello. Got the Thomas today.
And Ryan Robinson.
My full name is Rymus.
Ryan Muss.
Yeah. So,
Robinson
sure.
Muss.
Yes. My full government name.
So we were talking about before the show. So as far as like what we've been playing, I'm almost done with Tears of the Kingdom. I'm just gonna do a couple things. So Tommy, you mentioned before that you finished it with like filling out the entire compendium, and you still only got like 50% of it done, according to the thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty close to finishing it, and I've looked through the quest logs, and I've done most of the quest, but I forgot about
the quests that you have found.
No, I mean, I did the full list of of all the quests that exist and all the ones that I've done.
Oh, I see.
So I've done most of those, but I forgot the compendium existed. And for those who aren't playing it, you take pictures of everything, and they mean like every weapon, every material for cooking, material for upgrading.
There's like
treasures.
3 or 4 things I don't have in that compendium.
So
then like even the shrines, I've done not all of them, but like maybe like 3/4 of them. You know.
So I've done all of because I checked all the shrines too. I'm missing 4 shrines on the surface. I've done like maybe half in the sky because like we were saying before the show, I am not good at making the vehicles. I studied that a little bit today so I can make some vehicles and fly around and get those like the sky ones. Yeah. But I forgot about the compendium. I forgot that that's just a whole aspect to the game. So so when I checked, I only had 1 picture in my compendium.
Well, if you have the money, you can buy the pictures.
Oh, I do not have the money because I need to buy diamonds.
Yeah.
For all those like quests, like a lot of the quests that I don't have are just because I'm lacking diamonds. Yeah, I kind of want to see what my completion rate's going to be, considering that I've done like most of the quest, and I'm going to have most of the shrines as well whenever I finish the last like sages thing.
Yeah.
Because I haven't gotten to like the end of the game, like saying that like give me a completion status.
Did you get the 5th stage?
I haven't gotten to there yet. I'm like the quest before that. I'm finishing up a couple side quests before I finish it fully because I don't know when that will pop up with my completion.
To be clear with the compendium, I took maybe 5 pictures total. I bought all the rest of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, oh shit, he finished it? I was like, people are doing this? I was like, let me just try doing this.
Yeah.
And I got tired of it. So I just took out one of all the things that I had, like all the materials, all my weapons, all my...
Oh, that's funny. That's a good idea.
I took pictures of all of those.
Yeah.
And I'm still at like maybe like 15% on all of them, if that. So I found that really boring. So I stopped it, and I'm going to see how much it says I have done and how much that compendium really like counts toward that completion status.
I mean, here's the thing. When I finish the game, I'm like, not that I'm never going to go back to it. Whenever the DLC comes, I'll go back to it, you know? But like, I've done as much of it as I care to do at this point. You know? 150 hours, I'm good, you know?
I just got the big boy horse. That was one of the side quests I finished up.
Yeah.
Did you do that one?
I'm not sure. I got the big golden horse and I got the Ganon horse. Those are both big.
This is like the horse god in like the Gulch.
Is it golden?
The mane's golden, the body's like white.
Wait, a golden god?
I'm not sure. I got the golden horse
god.
Oh.
There's a gold horse, and that's Zelda's horse.
Yeah, I got that one.
Missing. And then there's another
I got
horse
the Ganon horse.
I don't know what you mean by the Ganon horse. All I know is they call it the horse god. It was in this Gulch. It's a white horse with gold mane.
Yeah,
and
in Breath of the Wild, you could get Ganondorf's horse. You can also get that horse in this game as well.
Oh. Well, It might be that horse, and I just, with my shitty memory, don't remember. But, yeah. I have a couple quests I need to finish, and then I need to do the Sky Quest. I'm almost done with the message from an ancient era where you get those 12 tablets.
Hmm.
I didn't realize with one of them that it would fall when he stood on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know
I
if
think a
there's a
lot
way.
of them fall, no?
Well, yes, but I'm saying the first one I didn't know.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I didn't get that picture. So I was like, okay. And so I went there again and it was still gone. So I don't know if there's a way to reset it or if I have to go down to the ground where it is and try and find it that way.
Yeah, go to the ground.
So, yeah. So most of Tears of the Kingdom. A new Hatotomi game just dropped, so I might go back to that after this. But I don't know. What have y'all been playing? Finishing up?
Started the Link's Awakening remake, so I've been playing through that, and I'm enjoying it a lot. It's interesting. I think it's my favorite kind of remake, where it's like, just make it look better and improve some quality of life things, but let it be the same game that it always was, you know? So like, you know, because Game Boy had 2 buttons. Switch has more buttons. So like that like that alone makes the game so much better, just not having to go into your inventory over and over again to switch out items, you know?
Yeah.
Or abilities, whatever you want to call them. That alone makes the game just so much better. But it's the same game, and I really like it. So, been
Nice.
playing that. Other than that, just like random old ass games, you know, the Game Boy Tetris and like shit like that. But I don't know. I haven't had a whole lot of time for video games this past couple of weeks, so that's really it.
What about you, Ryan?
I, on the other hand, have been playing a lot of video games.
All of them?
Probably not all of them, but a fair amount. So, of course, still playing a lot of Street Fighter. Game fucking rules. Also, a lot of my time in Street Fighter lately has been me. I have a friend who's new to fighting games, and so she's getting into fighting games with Street Fighter 6. So I spent a fair amount of time, like last week, kind of going into the training mode, and you know, showing her how to do a few things, and you know, teaching her some basics and things like that. And that's been a lot of fun. But and then been playing a little bit of Diablo 4 here and there. But this past week, Kaylee and I got an Xbox, and so I've been playing some Xbox. I've been playing State of Decay 2, which is still my favorite Xbox game. I'm getting a lot better at not letting the survivors get killed. I only had one guy get
Congrats.
only one guy so far has been ripped in half. So that's a new record for me, because usually by now I'm about 8 hours into the save. Usually by now 3 or 4 guys would have been ripped in half by a zombus. So, you know, that's going really well. That game is still really fun. I got to try Sea of Thieves for the first time this week.
How do you feel about it? Everybody I've talked to is either pretty hot or cold with it.
Well, I think I am in the position that's fairly advantageous in that, like, I had a pretty good idea of what the game was like before I played it, because it's just been out for so long, and so I think my expectations were based on that. With that being said, we've been having a lot of fun with it.
Monkey Island stuff coming to that game.
Yeah, I saw
It's very strange.
It's on the dashboard. There's Monkey Island. There's a Monkey Island trailer that you can load up on the dashboard. But yeah, it's been a lot of like really funny shenanigans in that game. Kaylee and I are learning still how to effectively sail the ship, and that's been a lot of fun with us. Like, whenever we get into some kind of combat situation, frantically like running around the ship trying to board up holes and then like bucket water off the ship, and but finding treasure and going to all the islands and just sailing around has been a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying that game so far. we have had some run-ins with other players. They like to leave their mics red hot, and they will tell you how much you suck when they kill you. And that's
I mean, that's good, I guess.
yeah. So that's constructive feedback, I guess. Like this guy, like he killed me, and he was like, "Man, you suck. Oh, you're new. No wonder you suck." I was like, "Okay." Okay. Okay. But overall,
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
I want to ask you something, and I don't mean to sound like an asshole by asking you this, but can I ask you why you bought an Xbox?
Because I wanted to play Xbox games.
But like you just
You
don't
have a
want to play those
computer.
on PC?
I do not like
And that's a
playing.
valid answer, you know. If you
Yeah.
don't want to, if that's the only reason that you don't want to play them on PC,
Yeah, I don't like playing games on computer. That's
Okay.
where it comes from. I do not like playing games on computer, and that's it, really.
yeah.
So
It's actually kind of funny because me and Berto, like 2-3 weeks ago, we were talking, and he's like, "Do you think we're ever gonna buy a Microsoft console again?" I was like, "I mean, not unless there's a point."
Right.
but here's the
That's
thing.
where I'm at.
Well, here's the thing: is that like that's totally valid. I just,
Yeah, no, but like I mean that changed. But like,
Uh-oh.
Shanae. Phil
We've
Spencer got you.
Some technical
oh
difficulties.
snap! Oh,
Yeah, Matt Booty's
I
over
forgot
here.
that. What?
You got it?
Yeah, am I not back for y'all?
Yeah,
you are now.
You're good.
What'd you say about booties?
Matt Booty? We're nothing. It's nothing.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What?
What was it? Oh, right. So I feel like it's like totally valid to like forgo getting one for that reason, especially considering the fact that like Kaylee has been doing a fair amount of playing through their cloud service.
Yeah.
When we're playing together, that's how she accesses the games through their cloud service. She
Yeah.
says it's pretty good. I just like playing games on console at the TV. So that's the optimal experience for me.
And for me, it's
I'm
just like I can play my computer on my TV if I want to, with a controller if I want to.
Yeah.
You know? But
Yeah, and I could do
Yeah.
that, but I just figuring out like having the computer set up to the TV and all that. I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. So
I get that.
yeah,
No, I mean it's understandable. Like since I work from home, like I definitely need breaks from my office area, which is like I work and play games in the same spot. So
Yeah.
I do tend to like go towards Switch and other games where I'm not in this room. So like fair enough on that. But I also do like playing on my PC, and I do play games with like Berto
Same
there.
here.
So there's no there's no reason for us, but like totally see it for others. It just was very funny that the opposite conversations we're having.
Yeah.
yeah, I hate computers. That's where I'm at with it. As I hate computers.
I mean, Skynet, I guess.
Also, I also played a little bit of Gears of War 1. And it's an interesting Gears of War 1 is an interesting game to revisit in 2023. Because I think about how I felt about that game back in 2006 and the revelation that I felt like that game was in 2006, and I still feel like that game is a lot of fun. But there are like a lot of things that were like that I thought were very cool in 2006 playing that game, and versus now, and I'm just like, that's real silly and cheesy, but I'm into it.
That is funny. Yeah, like I don't know that I ever thought Gears of War was cool, you know? Like I thought it was cool in that like it was fun to go killing a bunch of monsters, you know? Like
Yeah.
that's cool, but like
I never thought
I
the
never
guys
thought
were cool.
seriously. Yeah,
The
I never
guys
thought
are-
seriously about the premise or the characters.
I've never
or,
like
you know?
never in the last
Yeah.
decade and a half have I thought the guys in the game were cool, because they're not cool.
Yeah, even though Cliffy B really wanted you to, you know.
And he tries so hard to make them seem cool, but I'm like, these guys are not cool. In fact,
Yeah.
the monsters are cooler than the guys. Like the monsters are the ones who are the cool ones, but you got to kill them. So what can you do?
It's a living.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's it.
You know what you should be playing on there
Hmm.
that I really dismissed for a long time is Killer Instinct game.
I don't think I'm gonna do that, but
Yeah.
because I've had
You don't want another fighting game in in rotation?
well, see here, I don't know. I thought about it, but I also thought about I was like, well, I gotta buy these characters, and it's just I don't.
How
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah.
When I bought it on Steam, it was just like, here's everything for $20.
So I mean that might be the case, but I also don't know that I want to spend $20 on a fighting game that I'm probably rarely going to play. Especially with how much of my time in that space is taken up by Street Fighter, and I'm pretty set on like getting really good at that game. And so I don't know, but
Yeah.
that game is hype as fuck though. I do like how hype that game
Well,
is.
the other cool thing about Xbox, the only reason that I wish like PlayStation was more backwards compatible than it is like you can still play Darkstalkers Resurrection and like
Yeah.
Third Strike Online,
Yeah.
which are like still to this day the best versions of those games.
You know what I don't like about Xbox though? Is when you're installing a game, it does not like you to play any other game while you're doing that.
Yeah.
And then it will tell you as the game is installing, like, hey, this game is ready to start. And then you start the game, and then like not only is the game not ready to start, but it will stop installing the game. Why are you doing that?
well, PlayStation does that shit too.
Well, PlayStation will do that, but it will keep installing the game.
Sure.
So that's the difference for me. And also, the install doesn't slow down when you're playing another game. So there's that too. But once the games are installed, I have a good time with it. So, I played like 15 minutes of DayZ, and that was a weird experience. Also, I don't know that I'll be doing that again. It was a very interesting experience, though.
Is there anything about the Xbox so far that you actually like more than your PS5? I don't, either the Xbox itself or the UI, not the games.
I don't know.
The UI is the same as it was last generation.
Yeah,
The
and
exact same?
it's yeah, and it's not particularly great. Like
It's
I mean it's adequate, I guess is the best word and maybe not even that. I can accomplish the things that I want to accomplish with it. It's just eventually it's just not as streamlined as it could be.
Quick resume though. Got quick resume. PlayStation doesn't have that.
Quick resume is good. I do like that.
Yeah.
adequate sounds like fair. It cannot be worse than the Nintendo Switch UI.
I love the Nintendo Switch UI. And you know what? Why is the Nintendo Switch still the only one that lets you calibrate your dead zones and lets you map any button that you want to any button that you want at a system level?
Tell him, Tom.
Fair enough.
You know?
Also, one of the only of those three consoles with native Bluetooth, so
Yeah. Doesn't matter what games want you to do with your buttons. The system lets you do whatever the fuck you want with your buttons. You
Let
know?
me do what I want with my fucking buttons. I bought these buttons. So, nothing is really standing out in that regard. I feel like the controller is okay. The interface is like, it is what it is. I don't know. Nothing really stands out in that regard, and I don't think that I ever expected it to really do that. I kind of just wanted to play those games, and it is allowing me to do that in its own way.
Can you still, in 2023, make yourself an Xbox avatar?
Yes. Matter of fact. Well, yes, my hip is poking out. I think I'll have to check, but I think the hip is poking out. Yeah, they when I was changing the name of my Xbox gamer tag, I saw like they still had my fucking Xbox 360 guy there. Not him, but like a picture of him. I was like,
Making
man,
the bagel bites or whatever it was.
whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
I forgot about the fucking the branded props that they let you have with your avatar back then. And I think the last time I looked, I saw you were still the you don't know Jack guy, but
Oh, funny.
but yeah, it's I think that the Xbox in that way is completely unremarkable. But you know, as long as it lets me do what I want to do, eventually, then it's fine. I just wish it were better about the way that it handles like downloads and installs. But like Tommy said, that quick resume is pretty fucking cool because I turned on my Xbox, turned itself off with the little power save feature because I was watching Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities and I forgot about it, and I went back to the
How
game.
is that, by the way?
It's fine. And I
You know what else is cool about it? Like, one of the main reasons I was interested in it, which is dumb because I can also do this on PC,
yeah.
but like booting in developer mode and just playing all the fucking emulators you want.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I probably won't do that because I am lazy, but you know that there are some nice features. I'm just not like terribly excited about those things. I'm just glad that I can play these Xbox games without doing it on a computer, basically.
Yeah.
So, mission accomplished. Also, Wells Fargo paid for most of it, so there's that too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I half expected you to say that you bought it for Starfield.
no. In fact, I don't think that even before they did that extended showcase of the game, I was like, I'm not buying an Xbox for that game. And after that, I was like, I have more doubts than I did before about this game. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how that game turns out. But like, there was probably never going to be a reality where I bought an Xbox for that game. That would be preposterous. But we'll see. We'll see how that game is.
Sorry there. But yeah, this week though, I had a topic that I wanted to talk to y'all about.
Okay.
So I mean, it feels like the 2020s have already happened because since COVID, time has had less and less meeting, especially like when you work from home. But or like just get stuck in a routine. We don't see a lot of people. But yeah, I just wanted to talk to y'all about I was like about what your favorite games of the 2020s so far has been. Because I was looking back and there's a lot of games that I thought came out a long time ago, but literally came out just like into the year 2020.
Yeah.
Because I was looking up when Persona 5 Royal came out. And that was
Gonna count that?
What?
I said you're gonna count that.
Well, I was like, I feel like I've replayed. I was like, I know it's probably just because I played the first one so long ago, but I was like, it felt like I had played that like years and years ago. Which, like, yeah, 3 years is still like a decent amount of time, but it's also not like as long as it felt. And I was like, oh, that only came out in 2020, and so I was like, I guess that would probably be my favorite game of that year. But then I remembered that Animal Crossing came out that year.
Yeah. Man, that's wild. I can't believe it's so. Man, a lot of stuff happened. And that feels like way longer ago that Animal Crossing came out.
Yeah, and everybody fell in love with it. It hit at such the perfect time for so many people to have that same experience. And I love that it's still like going. It still does have like a decent community. Obviously not the size as like it was back in 2020.
Yeah.
But every now and then I still get an itch to like open up the island, but then I see all the weeds and I'm like, ugh, I don't have time for this.
Re-downloaded it recently, but haven't gone back into it. I was like, I like that game, but it feels like such a neutered Animal Crossing game, you know?
Yeah.
Like such a what?
neutered. Like there's a lot of things
Oh,
in
neutered.
previous Animal Crossings that just for whatever reason are not in this.
Like what, Tom?
But-
What are you missing the most?
I don't know. I don't know that there's anything specific that I really miss, but it's just like I feel like with Nintendo games in general, Nintendo first party games in general, they've just like let's condense it down to the simplest thing that it can be, and that definitely hits Animal Crossing. I don't know. It's fine. I had fun with it, but like Shanae and my sister, like they played the shit out of that game,
Yeah.
and I just could not bring myself to play it for more than a few weeks.
Yeah.
And my sister played it for even longer. Yeah, no, it was. I mean, I thought you said new nerd, which did
No.
not make any sense in that sentence.
Yeah,
You
that
said-
game's for
you said
fucking new
nerd.
nerds, man. You fucking
Yeah.
poser
I was like-
nerds. You fucking new
I
nerds.
thought you said it was such a new nerd Animal Crossing, and I was like, what does he mean by a new nerd Animal Crossing?
Well,
like,
you are right though in that.
but
in
new
that,
nerd
like,
also kind of fits it.
that's- It's definitely the most successful Animal Crossing has been, right? Like it's got to be. It must be.
Yeah, like it was everybody's like
Yeah.
pandemic comfort game. Like, yeah, the world feels like it's dying outside, but here's this cute little cat in a t-shirt
Yeah.
asking if it can call you a nickname.
The pandemic didn't exist on that island, man. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, just loans still did though.
Yeah. But they were interest free, so you're good.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so I always see what a couple but recent games because all of us are I'd say Ryan, you probably keep up to date when a game is like newly comes out more than me and Tom, just because Tom he likes the game when he likes a game. But release date doesn't matter to him. He'll choose when he likes it. But games. What would y'all say have been your favorite game since January 2020?
It's hard. I don't feel like there's a lot of games in the past 3 years that have really impressed me.
Mm.
But there are some. I like the Pathless a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
It does not like it's giant squid, but it almost feels like a Ueda game, and you guys know I eat that shit up, It's a really good game. Huge improvement over Abzu. And just like it doesn't matter that there's not real combat because just moving around is fun,
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a fantastic game. So that's definitely up there for me. Returnal is definitely up there for me.
Yes.
I think Returnal is still this generation's best game to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What about
game that is-
Deathloop?
No, Returnal fucking eats Deathloop's lunch, man. Like, yeah, there's no comparison. I like
It calls it a
Deathloop
new
lot,
nerd.
Yeah.
I like Deathloop a lot, and I'm glad you brought that up because that game didn't even cross my mind. And it's definitely a game I would put on this list, but like, I think Returnal just takes a big shit on Deathloop, Like, it's not even a contest.
What are the things that you like after your time with Deathloop, or I'm sorry, Returnal? What are the things that you appreciate the most about that game?
A lot of things. I like that. I like who developed it. I like the fact that it's from Housemarque, a studio that has never done anything near the scope of that game.
Yeah.
A studio that has never done anything with narrative,
Yeah.
and they just hit it out of the fucking park, man.
Mm-hmm.
I like the gameplay of the game. I like the fact that the gameplay and what you are doing, right? It's a roguelite. And that fits into the story of that game so well.
Yeah.
And it's, people are like, oh, there's too many fucking time loop games. Returnal is not a time loop game.
Yeah.
You die and you return, but time continues.
Yeah.
It's just such an interesting story, man. And like, it fits the roguelite genre so much better than all these other games that try to have stories that fit that genre.
Sure. Yeah. Fantastic game. I do really like that game.
I also like the fact that like if you think about the smallest mechanics in that game, if you think about like Returnal's health bar,
Yeah.
right? And much like any other game, you lose health and you can get health pickups to regenerate that health, right?
Yeah.
But if your health is already at max, getting health pickups then extends your health even further.
Right.
And the interesting thing about that is that the only way for you to improve your health is when you don't need to improve your health. When you are good enough that you don't need to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's such an interesting thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never finished that game. I picked it up again recently.
Yeah.
And then quickly put it back down.
I get to the third biome, and that biome is still my brick wall because I haven't really been able to negotiate that part yet. I spent weeks and weeks fighting the second boss to get there, but it's just the game feels really good despite my lack of skill at it.
Well, and that is one thing, right? Like, there are people who are not going to see anything past the first level of that game.
Yeah.
There just are, right? And that really sucks for those people because, like, the story of that game is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're not good enough to play through that game, just watch the fucking story. It's good, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like that it's we don't see a lot of like video game protagonists that are middle-aged women.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool. But the story that the bits of story that I did get to see so far have been very compelling, and I like the developments that are happening. There's like seeing that like because I've told you guys before that like I like things that are eerie and weird, and like seeing her house in the middle, like her very like regular house in the middle of this like bizarre alien world was very eerie and creepy in like a very Control type way to me.
Yeah.
And that was that like in going to the house and like getting like the story bits that like it allows you to each time you do it it's been very compelling. So I hope that at some point I can get through the story, because if I don't, I'm probably just gonna end up watching it because I know
there's a really good Jacob Geller video essay on Returnal, comparing it to I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, which is a very good old sci-fi book. I know they made a PC game out of it. I never played that game.
Yeah.
But like some like truly dark stuff, very interesting story.
That's a creepy story too.
Yeah. Like I don't think that there's a story in video games that I have played that tops that.
Yeah.
Since it came out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. And one that works so well with the medium, because like that story is best told as a video game rather than a book or a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I do want to mention 2 games just real quick. I don't think we need to go with them. Obviously, Tears of the Kingdom, and then God of War Ragnarok. A game that I wasn't expecting, but it did also pop on my list is It Takes Two. It takes like very specific games and very specific moods to like where me and Berto are in like perfect harmony about a game, and we're both like around the same skill set and like get like the same enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
And It Takes Two, I was expecting to like get annoyed. At least one of us to get annoyed while playing it, but no, it was like really, really fun. I've heard a lot of people say that like it caused arguments or that it was a difficult game, but maybe it is if you, I don't know, it just hit a really, really good spot, and like I have a lot of really fun memories with it, and I think it was like as far as couch co-op games, like one of the best, even longer than the last 3 years.
Yeah. They're such an interesting studio too, right? Like if you think about the games that they made before that, as well as that game, like clearly local multiplayer is important to them.
Yeah.
And I think like they seem to only be getting better at it, right? Brothers is intended to be played like single player, but you can very easily, probably more easily than playing it by yourself, play it with two people each holding one side of the controller.
Yeah.
You know,
That'd be cute.
yeah. And then what was the one that they did after the prison one?
A Way Out.
A Way Out. Yeah, yeah. Like very interesting studio.
Kaylee and I tried to play that while we were dating, and I fell asleep during the escape. I would like to revisit it. I think I fell asleep because I had been drinking, but yeah, I would try it again.
In a similar vein, actually, the other two games that I wrote down or have listed are also like kind of similar vein to It Takes Two. Nothing that was like ridiculously innovative, but it just hit like a really good spot. It is Spiritfarer. I don't know. I still like sometimes we'll just put the background music on like on my phone, or like us like go little play it just because it was so relaxing, and I just think about fishing on the side of the boat as I like traveled.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it was just like really charming, and yeah, like it just
without spoiling it, Shanae, because I haven't finished the game yet, but like what are some things that you took away from Spiritfarer that you like that like really stuck with you? Because there are some things that stuck with me, and I was just wondering like what are some things that you really appreciate about that game?
So like for sure the stories, like I'm terrible at names, but the little bird that's an old lady, like and talking about her husband, and like you go and find the films for. I really, really loved her story. I liked that the deer, the very first one that you get, like the best friend, I loved like that she's a snarky personality.
Yeah.
I liked that it was like a variety, and even like the people who had very unappealing attitudes, like everyone was super different, but they all had like different senses of loss and grief about them. And I really liked all the different perspectives, of lenses of that.
Yeah.
And like the little bird with the big, I think it's a bull, that are brothers. Like that story, I was not expecting what their deal was. That also hurt my heart a bit. The old lady snake, when it's like her goodbye. And she's just like, "Thank you, dearie." I'm just like, okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And I think when I was playing that game, I had always thought to, because I didn't know when I was playing it if you had played it at that time, but it had always crossed my mind to recommend it to you, and I never got around to it. But I had always figured that would be a game that you would latch on to.
Yeah, it just like it's super charming. It has a lot of heart. It's not like it's sincere in what it's trying to do and say. And I always like really appreciate that. And the fact that like it's such a charming package as it does it. The music is relaxing. It's very cozy. It's very stress free. There's a lot of like cozy games where I feel like it straddles the line of not being entertaining enough to like make my ADHD happy. Or it has too many like management or stat things that I have to pay attention to that I start not enjoying the story and reading what's going on, and I'm just speed reading through it.
Right.
So it has to hit like a good spot for me, and Spiritfarer just did that. And yeah, like I would recommend it to anybody.
Yeah.
The other one, she also comes at no surprise. Even looking back at it now, and I keep going in waves of, do I think this game's pretty bad, or do I think it's great? Hogwarts Legacy. I'm just still really happy I got to go to Hogwarts. It was still beautiful. There's a lot the game is lacking, and it's definitely very shallow as far as like gameplay and even story to most extent. But as somebody who has always wanted to be told that they're like magical and special, and they're going to go to like a school where you can change like the universe and like transfigure stuff, and you're not going to create an atom bomb, because who the fuck gives a shit about atoms when you're magic?
Sure.
Like, yeah, no. Like it was nice. It was super comforting. I'm if you're gonna make trash, like money grabby Harry Potter stuff, a beautiful open world game is good enough. Is better than those the Fantastic Beasts movies. So,
is this the best Harry Potter game you've ever played?
so here's the thing: I have not played a lot of the Harry Potter video games. So I'm gonna say yes, but it's also because I feel I've like watched videos of people comparing and contrasting all the different Harry Potter games, because even if it's the same game across consoles, it was actually a different game.
Yeah.
So even then, like the ones that I've played that even are the good games, it was the worst version of it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say yes, but also, to be fair, it has very slim competition.
Yeah.
Well, in general, licensed games have been much, much better recently.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the only one that like you really feel like that. I really felt like I was in Hogwarts. Like I'm in this magical castle that I'm pretty sure gets powered by souls somehow.
Yeah, that's gross. But I like
Well,
it.
Yeah. But yeah, was there any other games from last that y'all wanted to bring up, or any, Ryan, that you thought of?
Yeah, I have a few. So this is presented in no particular order. But the first one is Midnight Fight Express. It was my favorite game released that I played last year. It was just like it's a game that really speaks to me in that I have, like, as far as like martial arts and action of that type, I have like very specific tastes, and I like it when the fights feel and look like they look very like I feel like gritty is kind of not the right word, but like that's the closest thing that I'm thinking of. But they kind of look like very brutal, right? Because I feel like a lot of the time in games or movies where like there's a lot of martial arts action, like a lot of the moves look like very sleek and stylish, right? They don't, but like the fights in Midnight Fight Express, they just look so real, and like the moves are just so cool.
They look like brawls instead of choreographed fights.
Yes, that's probably more apt. Like it looks like these fights look like they look like brawls that and just the entire time I was playing that game, sometimes I have games where like I'm hoping that I'm not coming up on the last level of the game because I just want this game to keep going. And that was very much my experience with that game. It like the environmental interaction that I would have that you're able to have with like during the fights, and like all the weapons that you're able to use, and like the finishing moves that you can do with said weapons, it's just very, very awesome. There are some on rails shooting sections of the game that I feel aren't designed particularly well, but those sections are like very like few and far between, so they're not like, they don't make up a majority of the game by any means. But it really surprised me, especially like a game. It's a game made by one guy, and
That's
just
a dude.
yeah, it just feels so, and it just the way it feels like so fleshed out and thoughtful is just it's a really cool game. So I really liked it a lot, and I continue to recommend it to people, to anybody who likes action games. Also, Spider-Man Miles Morales. That like, so I have like my relationship with games based on comic books is that like a lot of the time, for the most part, they're just action games that I play. Like they just happen to have superhero paint on them. But other than that, there's not
like Winky Dink.
Yeah, there's not really like there's not like a lot of significant. There's usually not a lot of significance to it having a comic book license to me. But I have have a lot of affection for Spider-Man, and I specifically have a lot of also affection for Miles Morales. And the thing that I think a lot of games, like superhero games, do is that, like, I think that they don't typically, in my experience, address the character outside of the suit, right? I think that a lot of the time the character is just like, they're just that thing, they're just that force, and that's all there is to them. But I feel like,
as without the superhero part, you're just playing The Sims.
yeah, well, what I mean is that, like, there are parts where like you get to engage with Miles as when he's Spider-Man, and you get to also engage with Miles as like just this regular kid. And that the sections where I was just Miles, like outside of his Spider-Man persona, really made the stuff that I did as Spider-Man feel so much more meaningful. And the way that game explores like Miles' relationship with his family and his friends and his mentor, and him trying to figure out like how to be Spider-Man. Like, even he's accompanying Peter on missions now at this point, like pretty regularly, but it still seems like he's still trying to figure out who like what his superhero, like his identity is. And watching him come into his own like throughout the course of this game is like really satisfying. And the way that game kind of the way that game ends, like, is very emotional, and it hit me in a way that I don't think any other superhero game ever has. And I really like that game a lot. And also, like, I think about playing that game. I've talked to this with Kaylee before, and I think about like, what if I had that game when I was a kid? Because I didn't have like a lot of black superheroes to look at when I was a kid, and even fewer of them made it into video games. And I feel like if I had this game as a kid, I would have really liked that, because I think that would have helped me in more ways than one with kind of figuring out myself and my identity. But Spider-Man Miles Morales is a fantastic comic book game, fantastic video game overall. Then I also put the Callisto Protocol. I've sung the praises of this game many times. I like this game a lot. I don't think I can really say anything about it that I haven't already. I feel like it's a pretty solid action horror game. All the cutscenes are really cool. The combat is really, really awesome. I know that there have been changes to the combat and the updates since I finished the game. But in my experience, the game was very tense and frightening and very, very engaging. And I think it's a very well made game. And I would invite people definitely to try to not think of it as like, not play it and be like, this is not Dead Space, but more think of it as like, try to think of it on its own, and engage with it on its terms. Cause I think that the game would serve you a lot better that way.
Serve you a lot well. That's fine.
Also,
that can be the
I can't, and I think that my favorite game of this decade, I think though, so far, is Street Fighter 6. That game is so, like, I think about that game so much. I love playing it. I'm always in the mood for it. Like, it's just such an awesome game. And I know that there are people who are better at Street Fighter than I am, and who are, more knowledgeable at Street Fighter than I am, who, have their issues with it, and some, but honestly, it's of the Street Fighters that I've played, it's gotta be like, I feel like it's the one that has felt the most intuitive to me. It's the one that's felt the most natural to me in its execution and the way that it works with its mechanics. And I don't know, I think it's too soon to say it's my favorite, but I love it a lot.
with fighting games in general, the FTC in general, there's always complaints about every fucking game. You know, if you look at the complaints against Street Fighter V versus 6, I'd say 6 is in a pretty good position. You know, but like for every Punk, which Punk complains about every game that he loses at.
Yeah.
You know, there's 100 outlets singing this game's praises.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a phenomenal game. It's just a phenomenal game. And like, I think perhaps what I appreciate about it the most is the way that I've been able to get people who previously weren't into fighting games like excited about this game and get them excited to play the game and get them excited. They're excited to like get online and do matches. And like, I feel like a lot of the time with any fighting game, regardless of which one it is, like it's scary for people to get online because like there's some fucking killers out there. But making a game that is fun to me, who is, I would say, decent at fighting games, and someone who is way less decent at fighting games, making that an equally fun experience for both of us, that's really special. And it only fuels my excitement about this game, and I hope that it continues to do well, because I want to see more people get into it, and I want more people to play with in lobbies and stuff, because it's just a great game. And also, like, I feel like I could be competitive in this game, and I haven't really felt empowered in that way in a fighting game in a long time. And that feels really good. And I think that's probably my biggest takeaway, is like how capable I feel while playing this game. Even when I'm losing, I feel like me losing wasn't like a matter of course, right? I feel like me lose, like I just happened to get outplayed that time. Whereas in like a lot of the time with other fighting games, I feel like, well, I'm just clearly, I've already hit my skill ceiling at this point. But with Street Fighter 6, I just feel like I continue to improve every time I pick up the controller. So yeah, I love that game. That's definitely one of my favorite games of this decade so far. So
I'm glad. But yeah, yeah, I just thought it'd be fun, nice little thing to talk about, like good stuff. Did y'all have any other games that you wanted to bring up, even if they weren't necessarily favorite of yours? Yeah, go for it.
I think Uniclear is phenomenal. I've not played Street Fighter V outside of the demos and betas yet, but I think that Uniclear, that series in general, Under Night in general, Melty Blood, all those games are way too slept on. And I think, like, as far as technical fighting games go, there's nothing that touches them. Not nowadays, anyway, you know? Shredder's Revenge, I think. I had a lot of problems with Shredder's Revenge when it first came out.
Neither of y'all brought it up.
Yeah, I really loved that game when it came out, but I had issues with it, and they addressed every single one of those issues. Yeah. You know, I still think that Streets of Rage 4 is the better game, but I believe that was before 2020.
Yeah.
And the last game I'll bring up, which was 2019, is Devil May Cry 5, because fuck y'all. Devil May Cry 5, if that was just pushed out a little bit later, sure. Top of the list.
Yeah. I think I have another one is Monster Hunter Rise. Monster Hunter continues to be as obtuse as it wants to be, while also trying to make itself a little bit more accessible to newcomers. Monster Hunter Rise does a lot of things that I wish other Monster Hunter games would do. And you know, I hope that the good things that have come out of Monster Hunter Rise make it into the next Monster Hunter game. I hope that they continue to let me have a dog friend that I can ride around like a horse. It is insane to me what a quality of life change that is. I didn't realize how much I didn't like running around the map before I got that horse dog. So,
as much as like I've not played a lot of Monster Hunter in my time, right?
Mhm.
But it sounds so convenient,
yeah,
and like it makes me think of that weird dog thing in Pikmin 4. Like Pikmin 4 is getting ready to come out. Like any day now, Pikmin 4 is coming out, right?
yeah.
And their big thing is that weird dog thing. And like it sounds the same, just a more convenient way to move yourself and your Pikmin.
Yeah, like there are people who I'll get online and play Monster Hunter Rise with strangers, and they'll like, because you can bring your cat friend and your dog friend, or you can bring 2 cat friends, or you can bring 2 dog friends. But like there are some people who are bringing 2 cat friends. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Because I'm already at the monster, and you're hoofing it, like because you didn't think to bring your fucking dog friend. And I don't know why anybody would do that, because it just makes the game so much better. It makes the game so much faster. I like fast games. So
you can't ride a cat, Shanae. You can't ride a cat.
I mean, He-Man rode a cat.
That wasn't gonna be.
That's a battle cat, though.
Sure.
That wasn't gonna be my my platform where I was gonna like take a stance on. But I'm glad to know it.
Yeah. I think if Shanae was running for office, she would campaign for riding on cats.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
What is it, like a fucking steak in every belly and a cat in every parking lot? Whatever.
But any other games on your list?
Nerp.
No.
I'm gonna play
All right.
Signalis.
There's literally nothing else that came out that was good.
I'm gonna play Signalis at some point this week, and maybe it'll make it on the list. I don't know.
It will.
But I'm gonna make Berto's list for him. He probably would say Elden Ring. Definitely Diablo 4. He's like having a blast with that. And he's been really liking Midnight Sun. He still keeps replaying it.
Yeah.
But yeah. But if you guys want to tell us about your favorite games since beginning of 2020, you can hit us up on our Discord. It'll be linked down below. We also are on most podcast apps. We're on the YouTube if you want to see our faces. And bye, guys.
Bye.